Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim, and today we have a wonderful guest by the name of April Rooks, and she is the founder of Amped Kids, which I am really excited to learn more about. Sounds a little like Camp Amped or Nucci Space or, any of those School of Rock kind of things. I'm amazed and excited, and we've always talked about doing something like that here.
And you've done it, and so we got to hear all about it.
And you live in a beautiful part of the state, which I want to touch on. Oh my gosh, that got a lot of snow this ice, I guess.
And so we're glad that you're here and not iced in still.
Yes, me too.
So tell us how this all came about, how it got started, and just take us from the very beginning.
Yeah, so, I'm a singer-songwriter and have taught vocal and piano lessons for many, many years, and then also performed across the Southeast, solo and with different bands. And so music has always been a very vital part of my life and fun and exciting, part of life as well. So through this journey of music, I had the opportunity of performing for and supporting an organization called CASA, which a lot of people are familiar with.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We've been involved a little bit with that.
Performing and helping to volunteer and do different things with them over a period of 10 years was really wonderful, and getting to learn what they do. It also touched my heart in a way because we had, some of that within my family. My mother took my cousins in when they were little to keep them from going into foster care. And then there was just a lot of family dysfunction and trauma in my childhood, and even into early adulthood as well. So that kind of came full circle at an event one evening that I was listening to a young lady who had aged out of the foster care system, and she shared about how music was what helped her to get through the really dark times in her life while she was in foster care. And I sat in the back of the room listening to her story, relating with that as well, and just a little tear falling down my cheek, and waiting to get back up and sing again, after the program. But something that night was a spark in me that I couldn't shake, and I felt like I was called to do something. And so I just began praying about it and saying, what can I do? What else am I supposed to do? So I had the idea of, what if we, I could help with getting lessons for some of the kids. But I wanted to not just have a small outfit. I thought, man, what if we could do this on a larger scale? So I started having some conversations with people at CASA and family, friends, and saying, what do you guys think about this, and what can we do? And so that was October of 2017.
Wow.
And March of 2018, we became a fiscal sponsor under the North Georgia Community Foundation, which is in Gainesville, so that we could launch Amped Kids, start fundraising, and start getting music programs out for kids in foster care.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And you did that from November to March. That was quick. That's called passion.
Yes,
that's
that's
called
right.
passion
That's
right
right.
there.
Yeah.
Wow. What all did you have to do to get it up and running?
Well, again, we started under the North Georgia Community Foundation, which gave us the opportunity to operate under their 501c3 umbrella.
Right.
And so we fundraised and got the community involved, and we had a launch party, which was so cool. I look back at it now, and we had the previous governor, Nathan Dill, his daughter is a friend.
Yes.
And a great
She's
singer.
very
a great
involved with
singer.
music.
Great singer.
So Katie sang, and then she was on our advisory board initially when we started. So we put an advisory board together, and we just began reaching out into the music community. I had such a great network that it just began, working with the Hall Dawson CASA. And so by the end of 2018, we had our first student, and she had a keyboard in hand that we went and picked up and got to her for her foster family. And then by the next year, we had served over 60 kids with
That is
Wow, that gives me chills.
it's amazing.
and just within the foster care system, and we're providing free music lessons, we have band scholarships available, and then over time we've expanded the program so that we can try to meet every kid where they are, because some kids might have an interest in songwriting and other kids might want to learn to play guitar.
Right.
So it just varies, and so we try to include kids as much as we can in different experiences.
That's just, think of how you have literally changed their lives. Because music does
It
change your
does.
life. It changes a person's life. And without that, the course of their life could have taken a totally different direction. I mean, music is hope for a lot of people.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So if somebody wanted to help or, or to get involved or to donate, or how would they do that?
Well, they can go to our website at ampedkids.org, A-M-P-E-D, kids.org, and you can donate. There's a get involved button, so if you want to volunteer or you want to be a mentor in the program to help support the kids that are in lessons or have band scholarships, and because our goal is that we're going to support them. We're not just going to give them music lessons. We want to help reach goals to help improve their mental health, improve their behavior, improve their academics, all of those things that music is helpful with. And so we like to keep in touch with the families and be able to support them as we can. And over time, we expanded from just foster kids to then including adopted youth and at-risk youth. And so because there's a lot of children that have experienced trauma in their lives, and music is such a beautiful therapeutic that
It is.
that helps them to overcome
What would
that.
we do without music?
don't know.
It's amazing how it affects mood, affects everything.
And you always hear there's a correlation between music and math. Is that true?
Oh yes, for sure. Music is math.
Yeah.
So when you break down the math of it and the science of it, yeah, I mean it is very mathematical, and so the brain actually is stimulated by music. And in young children, it helps to develop the brain. So that's why when you have younger children in music programs, it helps them to have higher academic scores, because the music is helping with the brain development based on the way that music stimulates the brain, and certain types of music help to release endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, all the things that the brain needs. And so those are all really important and a part of that whole journey. It's a lot of nerdy neuroscience behind it. That is,
but it's been proven.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's proven to be effective for children, and that's one of the things that's continuing conversation about mental and behavioral health, because it does affect the brain. And so with that, it helps children to be able to improve their mental health, which is so needed. We've really got a crisis of that in a lot of our communities, not just with foster kids, but there's a lot of that. And so as that's happened, we've had more involvement with certain school systems that are looking for us to come in and do songwriting workshops or things with kids to help them to find avenues and outlets of expression, because that's definitely important for all of us and all of our mental health.
Yeah. And it's not the music and video games.
Right.
No.
We learned about you through a good friend here in town, Lindsay Payne.
Yes.
And
At Downtown Eats.
At Downtown Eats, yes. Go
Delicious.
there if you haven't.
Delicious.
But she says you are coming and giving a testimony and playing some music at a women's group that meets worship group.
Yeah.
Luncheon. They have a luncheon once a month, I believe.
Yeah, once a month.
And we're excited. She mentioned you, and we were like, oh yeah, we need to talk to her.
I'm so glad. I met Lindsay many years ago. We both worked together in the senior care industry.
Okay.
And serving seniors, and Lindsay has such a big heart.
Oh,
for,
yes, she does.
Yeah, and
she does.
passion for people. So I love what she's doing, and I'm just tickled to be a part of it.
We're tickled she's here. We need more little, small local business.
People like her.
Yes.
Those big hearts.
Yes.
Have you heard about her back porch refrigerator?
Yes,
Isn't that amazing?
it's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that plenty of people will take advantage of it and really be grateful for that.
And there's a need. There's a big need too. Yeah.
There are more hungry people than we know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I'm excited to be able to share some music at the event. So that is always fun. I love that, and I love being able to share anytime that I can share a piece of my life, my story, and encourage others. And so I'm planning next week to talk about turning our pain into purpose.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
I like that.
yeah.
I think she's sold out, but I had talked about going this month, but
Oh, she is sold out already?
Oh my goodness! Well,
she sells out. I
We
mean,
can work in the kitchen.
that's true.
We'll get in the
We
door.
can serve water or
We will get
coffee.
in the door somehow. Well, tell us how do you want to tell us how you actually got started in music, or?
sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, my dad was a musician,
Okay.
so he played he played multiple instruments and sang, and so I was always
Around it,
Around
yeah.
it. Even my mom used to tell the story a lot about how when she was pregnant with me and she would go to band practice with my dad, that every time they'd start playing the music, I was moving. I was in there, I guess,
You're
dancing.
grooving with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just was always very special to me,
There.
and I was always singing and driving everybody crazy, as a kid. And then as I, I went to middle school, I just started having more of an interest in learning to play. So I got a keyboard and, started kind of experimenting with that. My mom didn't have the finances to be able to pay for private lessons,
Right.
but I was always involved in whatever I could be in. So, I'd be involved in chorus at school, which is really great because chorus gives a lot of foundational principles to help with singing that you learn in some basic like voice classes
Yeah.
and things. So it was really, really good that I was able to do that and being involved in that. And then I was in drama in a year in high school, so that was another fun
I love
experience. And
the
then-
drama geeks.
Yeah.
they're awesome.
Yeah.
My girls were both in drama.
Yeah, it was fun, but music kind of superseded that. So I was like, okay, I have to pick one or the other, and so music was always more important. Then I was involved in singing at church. So when I was 15, I sang for a conference at the Georgia Mountain Center. Y'all remember the Georgia
yes.
Mountain Center
Yes.
in Gainesville? Yeah, and so I just over time began more and more singing and leading worship at my church, and then ended up going to school and went to college for a little while. But I always say I'm a music school dropout. Not a beauty school dropout, a music school dropout. But I went and studied music, and so that really was helpful in learning and growing my vocal skills, my piano skills, and especially also my songwriting and learning the depths of music theory and all of those things. And so I'm thankful that I've learned all that, and it's been very instrumental for me. And then what was a outlet for me through poetry as a young kid, I was able to take those poems or lyrics and be able to, put them into a song with a melody. And that's always just been a major outlet for me. I think that, going from being a child myself who oftentimes felt unseen, or I was never one of the popular kids or, any of that, but being able to get up on stage and pour my heart out into a song,
Right.
or get up and pour my heart out in worship and gratitude, and how that was what really changed my life. And even through, other painful things that I've gone through in life. I was thinking about it this morning. We fall down a lot in life. We make mistakes or things happen. But you know what? We can get up again. And that's the beauty of redemption and hope and all of those things. And so throughout this, journey of songwriting and performing and all of the things, that has just been an amazing gift for me.
And I think that music gives you that hope. And for somebody that doesn't have music, they might not be able to get back up.
Right.
They might just be in those depths of despair and just they don't see any way out.
That's right.
Yeah, sad.
And I think the whole music and possibly drama, you can become that person you want to be, kind of behind that curtain of. It's so amazing to see when my girls were doing theater, the kids that were struggling, but oh my gosh, up on stage, they were somebody totally different.
They were stars.
Yes, it was
right.
awesome.
I think it gives you a different type of confidence. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely does. I remember being younger, and someone at my church told me that they'd made a comment that someone else thought I was arrogant. And I actually was like the very opposite of that.
Right.
I'm very introverted. So and I'm still an introvert, but I'm a little bit more extrovert now that I'm older. But at that time, I was really quiet to myself. And so I think their perception of me from seeing me
Yes.
Perform.
or lead worship, where I felt confident. That was my gift. And I might not be good at anything else, but I can sing, I might not be good at math, but I can sing, but I felt confident up there. That was where, again, it was the outlet and that release for me. And so, but being off stage, like, how do I talk to people? What do I say?
Going back in the room.
I carried a watermelon, like it's one of those, And so, it gives kids confidence where they might feel insecure or they may not feel like, I'm not really good at anything. But they get on stage and it's a different world.
That's wonderful.
It is.
That is wonderful. Wow. How many children have you helped through this organization? Have you even lost count?
Well, so as of the end of 2025, we have impacted over 2,000 kids' lives.
Wow.
Through our outreach and different programs.
And it's not just in this area either, right? It's
Right. We work with kids all over the state of Georgia, and then we also have a small Nashville chapter in Tennessee.
That's exciting.
yes.
Yeah, I love that.
That's been a fun experience. And of course, Nashville, there's no shortage of musicians.
Exactly.
And we're hoping to continue to grow that program in the future as well. But Georgia is our main focus, and we continue to, through our various partnerships within the Department of Family and Children's Services and AmeriGroup and all the different partners we work with, where we just continue to grow and grow and grow. Yeah, which is sad in one aspect because there are so many kids that are in foster care or that, are going through trauma. But on the other side of that they have something that will give them hope. And so the more that we can reach the children that are in those circumstances and growth within our programs, that's a really good thing.
Well, CASA is like the voice of the children.
Yes.
But this is more like the heart of the children, the hope of the children. There's something out there for me. And some of these kids, you're probably getting a time where they feel like they have nothing left. Even though they probably were in a bad situation, even though you're in a bad situation, a child is still away from their family. So that's got to be so difficult. But just the fact that, wow, somebody's going to get me a guitar, and I've got a person I can go see once a week who's going to teach me. And then maybe those times when they are in their room alone or the foster parent can't spend a lot of time with them, they've got that guitar. Like I said, they've got that hope.
Yes, yep. One of my favorite stories was in 2019, we did a recording studio tour at John Driscoll Hopkins of the Zach Brown Band at his Brighter Shades studio.
Yeah.
And we had a group of kids that went, and one of those young men that were there, I remember, and we saw photos of him looking at the glass a case with the Grammys and the awards in it, in that big studio space there. And so following that, he started guitar lessons over in Habersham, one of our partners there. And he took lessons for a while, and then COVID happened, and that created a lot of anxiety in him. And then, he was not in school, and well, he stopped lessons, but he was still playing guitar because I would keep in touch with his foster mom. And so he was still playing guitar. And then it was, I think in 22, we had a songwriting workshop in Sawtee, and I reached out to his mom, foster mom, and I said, do you think he would be interested? So she's like, yeah, let me get him to come out. After we finished up, he pulled his phone out and he's like, let me show you what I've been working on. And so he had actually gotten an electric guitar by that time, and they'd found him a good deal on an electric guitar. And so he shows me this video of him playing electric, and I was blown away.
Really?
I was like, oh my goodness, look at you, how amazing. So we got him plugged in at one of our other partners, Let There Be Rock, and they kind of focus more on like rock music and metal and that kind of stuff that he was into. So he started doing some lessons again there, and then he's graduated from high school.
Still in foster care at the time?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And then he did graduate. And so following his graduation, I invited him to come over to the office, and I had a Fender guitar that had been donated to us
Wow.
by a friend down in Gwinnett years ago. But we were holding it because he wanted it to go to
A special person.
a special student that would really appreciate it and be able to play it well. And so I gave him the guitar.
Did he
that
cry like a
day.
baby?
Oh, he was shocked. He didn't
Yeah.
cry because
Okay.
but he was definitely
Yeah.
just like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Wow. And but he was telling me that he wants to build guitars. So his
Oh.
dream is to build guitars, and then maybe even one day own a music store. So I connected him with a few people that, are luthiers or people that could give him some direction on building guitars, customized guitars, all of that world. And then also, we've directed him with some people that have music stores to say, hey, these are possible internships and ways that that you could reach that dream.
Wow.
And he's already working on building guitars and doing all of
Wow.
those things. So, we'll see what happens.
And
But
you still
yes.
keep in touch with him?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and a special young man. But he and his siblings that had gone through tremendous abuse, and so to see.
Was he
all-
separated from his siblings also?
Initially, they weren't, but over time, things happened.
Okay.
And there were separations, mental health issues with
Yes.
some different things. And he had one brother, his brother that was still living with the foster family at the time, though, had told me at one point, he said he gets up every morning at 5:30 and practices before school. I was like, that is some commitment
Yeah.
to get up at 5:30, for a
kid,
teenager.
yeah.
Before
Yeah.
school. And so he absolutely, that is his therapy, his outlet in life. And so yes, it's definitely watching him over a period of all of these years in our programs until I guess it was last year, and seeing how that transformed him has been the biggest joy.
I think saved is the word. Think about how his life would be different right now had he not
Had
gotten
music.
that guitar. I mean, there's,
And I love
Yeah.
that you stay in touch. I mean, that's commitment on your part
Right.
to continue to talk to these people that age out or,
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? Like when you've been there and you've walked and, not the same shoes, but
But
you've
you-
been through challenges in life. You understand that hurt, but you also understand that it took that person that believed in you, that saw you,
right.
and that invested in you. So, yeah, it is. It's more than just an organization or a nonprofit. It's a calling and a passion in my life. Absolutely.
And it shows.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great. The last time I drove through Sati, I went by the Sati store, and they have this little lean-to out the side, and there were a bunch of musicians. I don't know if they were bluegrass, but I was like, wait, look at that. Look at that.
You might have seen me out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just a gathering, come when you can?
Yep, it's an open jam on
Nice.
Saturday mornings,
Nice.
and each of us, as we're able, we'll go in, go sit in and sing anything from country to bluegrass to some gospel, and it is an absolute blast.
Nice.
Yeah. And they have a podcast as well, the Old Salty Store.
Yes, you
Does,
mentioned that.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
old
great.
salty store.
Yeah.
Nice.
They have new owner, relatively new owners, a few years.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dawn and Rosemary.
I was
Allison.
so afraid they were going to shut down because that's a neat store when the old owners decided
Sold,
to.
uh,
Oh no! I don't think that would have happened. I think there were a lot of people that were because it's such a really neat piece of history.
It is.
there
It is.
in the historic valley of Sati, and I think it similar to what y'all are doing. They're doing by having people come on the podcast, share about local things happening, the stories.
Yeah.
From because there's so many amazing stories and so much history there. But the music jam it's really
It looked like it was happening.
It's a
There
lot
was
of
not a
fun.
parking spot around.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's the first Saturday of every month, or when is
every
it?
Saturday.
Every Saturday. Starting at what time?
10 a.m.
How long does it last?
till it ends.
That's my kind of party.
I know. It's that's the truth. They just play until everybody gets ready to head out. You ladies got to come up and join us
We
on
need to.
Saturday.
Do you have more participants or more audience? I mean,
Well, it kind of depends on the Saturday and the weather.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that are filtering through the store, they come in
Yeah.
and they'll stand out there for a few minutes and filter out, and then other people come. So it may not be
Right.
as much audience driven as it like at one time, but there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
filter through.
We'll have to go. Yeah, that'll
Definitely.
be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that power of music and bringing people together and community and watching that and seeing that happen, because we've had some new musicians that have moved into the area in the last year or two, and come up to the jam, and and then just to see how everybody just again connects and builds friendships through that. And that's
Right.
another part of what we do with our programs is we give children the opportunity to connect with instructors, but also build safe relationships with other kids in our programs, because when we do group programs, and then we have a talent show every year for the kids as well.
I'd like to see that.
They get to see each other, from year to year, and they get to see what song they're going to do, or catch up with them. And then we have other performance opportunities that we give them throughout the year as well. So through that, they build this sense of community, and that's important for all of us.
Huge.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just wonderful.
Yeah, I know. I want to go.
Well, we need to get some of your kids to come perform at our 60th
Yes.
Autumn Leaf Festival this year. It's our
Oh.
anniversary
Yes,
year.
we would love that. And we're
Yeah.
looking for performers.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
That sounds
that'd be
great.
so sweet.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
Now I know you've done a lot of recording in your lifetime, but have you ever recorded with the kids you help?
Yes, and in fact, earlier you were mentioning that with Matthew's story about how that it sounds like some, being saved, like a child being saved. And so in 2024, I'm like, what year is it right now?
6.
Yeah, 2024, we went into the studio to record a song I co-wrote with Greg Barnhill, a Nashville songwriter, and Greg and I had connected through the used to be the John Gerard Foundation. Now it's the Gerard Birch Foundation out of Hall County. He wrote "Walk Away Joe" that Trisha
Yes,
did.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I love that song.
Oh, I know. And he's got so many great songs that he's written. But he and I developed a friendship over a period of years, and we were talking at one of the events a few years ago, and talking about the power of music and how it has the power to change a life, to save a life. And he told me a story about one of his songwriter friends. She was doing a show in Athens. And at the end of that show, a man came up to her and said, "I just want you to know that when I came in here tonight, I was ready to give up. Totally just give up. But because of the songs you sang and the words you said, saved my life."
Wow. Who was that
Wow.
songwriter?
I believe it was Joanna Cotton.
Okay.
I believe she was the one performing there.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah. Again, chills
Yeah.
when he told that
Yeah.
story. Just chills. I went home and I said, "You know what, man, that's a song."
Yes,
That's a song.
yes.
Yeah.
So I started kind of working on and developed a chorus, part of a chorus, and some lyrics and ideas around it. And I reached out to Greg and I said, "Hey, would you be interested in helping me to write the song, because you gave me this really great idea, it's just so inspired for this, and to use it to tell the story for amped kids."
Right.
And so we got together shortly thereafter and wrote "Saved by a Song."
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and so we in 24 we went into the studio and we brought the kids in to
Oh, you had the kids there too?
Yeah. So we brought some of our students in to sing on the recording and
I
let
want
them
to hear it.
They too.
let them have the recording, experience in the studio.
Right.
And,
Special.
Yeah, and we recorded a music video.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I want to see it.
And we did that over in Dahlonega at Venue 223. A music friend, of course,
Right,
through
of
my
course.
world of music. He and his wife have the venue, and he's like, "Come over here. You're welcome to do this
Oh,
video."
wow.
So we had an official camera crew come in and do this video. It was wild. So it was a first time and fun experience for the kids and for, I guess, myself for sure, and some of our instructors
Yeah.
and music friends were all involved in the making of this video to tell that story. And then I was able to perform the song with Greg Barnhill at the Bluebird Cafe for
For
an
the Bluebird.
Yes,
Nice.
for an Amped Kids fundraiser there.
Nice.
And so that was definitely a really cool experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that song is a really magical song. But
You have to
it's,
send
again,
us a copy of the
Yes.
music. Oh,
Wonderful.
exciting.
Wonderful. I can't thank you enough for coming today, but more importantly, I mean, for what you're doing.
Yes.
That's just, it makes you feel good about the world again.
It does.
You know, you watch the news, like, I watch the news so much, and then by the time I finish the news, I'm drained, I'm down, it's like, what's our world coming to? And then we meet people like you.
Gives you
and it's-
hope.
Yes. It's like, it's wonderful.
Well, thank you.
It renews my faith in the world. It does.
We needed that.
Oh, well, thank you. That's my hope, and that I can, bring a little spark into kids' lives and into others' lives, and that's what we're here for. And if we can serve kids here in Maysville and be able to, help them with band scholarships or free music lessons or other programs that we have, we would love to do that.
That's great because we have a need here.
We do.
We really have a need. Wonderful.
And Sawtee isn't that far
No.
from here.
And you're just
No.
a phone call away now.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll be friends.
Yes.
Can't wait.
We have more music friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, this has been wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Please look up the Amped Kids Foundation, donate, check them out. And if you know a child in need, just get in touch with Amped Kids Foundation, and we appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk. I'm Lily.
I'm Kim.
I'm April.
We'll see you next time. Bye,
Bye.
y'all.